Live from the Business RadioX studio inside Renaissance Bank, the bank that specializes in understanding you. It's time for North Fulton Business Radio.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of North Fulton Business Radio. I'm John Ray, and folks, I'm excited about today's show. We've got a great cause we're going to be talking about, breast cancer rehabilitation, with Lois Rusco. She's the executive director of TurningPoint Breast Cancer Rehabilitation, and we'll get to Lois in just a second. But I want to remind you that if you just love calling up your bank and you love those chat bots and automated voices and you can't get through to a live person, if you love all that, don't come to Renaissance, because that's not the way they do business. They actually answer their own phone at Renaissance, and they believe in personal service. I know this from the customers that I have heard that do business with Renaissance. They love the combination of personal service plus a bank big enough to handle pretty much any need they can come up with. If you want to learn more, go to renaissancebank.com, find a local office, give them a call, and they'll answer the phone. Renaissance Bank, understanding you, member FDIC. And now I want to welcome Lois Rusco. Lois is the executive director of TurningPoint Breast Cancer Rehabilitation. Lois, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm delighted to have you here. Let's talk about you and TurningPoint, how you serving folks out there. I think we know, but tell us the details.
Sure. We were founded in 2003 by a breast cancer survivor and physical therapist, and her name is Jill Binkley. And she was actually on her breast cancer journey and had a double mastectomy and was unable to lift her arms and have some good functionality and movement in her upper extremities. So she started seeking out help through rehabilitation clinics locally and found that she was unable to get anyone to help her because of the type of surgery that she had. They weren't familiar with really how to go about that physical therapy and getting her to be able to move and have functionality again. So she did some research and found some support for this and developed evidence-based practices for physical therapy that we now use at TurningPoint.
Oh, wow. I definitely want to get into that, but let's talk about you for a second.
Sure.
and your backstory and why you're so passionate about this work.
Absolutely. I became involved with TurningPoint around 2014 as a volunteer and a donor. I volunteered at one of the events that they hold and just became passionate about the organization, seeing what they were able to do to help breast cancer patients. But I also my mother has breast cancer. And so seeing her go through what she did and seeing how we could have helped is inspiring. And my sister-in-law unfortunately passed away from breast cancer. And I have a couple of very close friends who were patients at TurningPoint. So it's really inspired me to drive forward and find ways to help those on their journey in breast cancer.
Wow. Thank you for that work.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I guess let's get to the need. Mm-hmm. When you were started, was there not a protocol for rehabilitation services for women that had breast cancer? Was that the issue?
That's the issue, and it continues today.
Really? Even after all these years?
Yes. And we are working very hard to get our information out there because after 20 years, a lot of people still don't know about us and haven't heard about this and what it can do to help them. It's interesting that it's still that way. It's hard to get healthcare professionals to refer. It's very common if you have knee surgery or ankle surgery or something like that, you walk out of there with a referral to rehabilitation, but that's not common for breast cancer patients and those that have gone through surgery. A lot of doctors and healthcare professionals don't understand the functionality limitations and mobility and also the emotional and psychological effects that can happen.
So I guess doctors, and we're not throwing doctors under the bus, but medical professionals it's easy to see the need when it's orthopedic, right? For example, and that's obvious mobility.
Yes.
As opposed to the debilitating mobility effects that occur for breast cancer. Can you talk about what some of those effects are?
Yeah, absolutely. It can limit your functionality, mobility of your arms, being able to do simple things like pick up a plate, a cup of coffee, those who have children trying to pick up their children or grandchildren, and doing everyday things like playing golf, tennis, just being active can be very difficult. And you get stiffness in your shoulders. You can also have effects from lymphedema. If you've had lymph nodes removed, you can get swelling in the arms because the fluid can't release. And so all of those things are things that we help with and have practices to alleviate those.
And what you're talking about when you're talking about picking up the grandkids, when you're talking about playing tennis or being physically active, those are essential aspects of healing, right? This is gets that mindset.
Exactly.
So
it does.
Talk more about that.
Yeah, and to couple along with physical therapy, we also offer specialized exercise programs. And we work with those patients specifically one-on-one. We have exercise programs to address their specific needs. We also have groups. After they've completed their one-on-one, they can join a group program and continue those exercises. But we really focus on that, trying to be able to lift weights and just get that movement back again is so critical. It's very critical to their overall emotional and psychological health as well.
So how do you interact with your clients? How does that work? How do they find you, I guess, number one?
Yeah. Most of our referrals are word of mouth from patients.
Okay.
And then we also have some nurse practitioners, some oncologists, plastic surgeons that will refer as well. And they can find us, of course, on our website, which is myturningpoint.org. And we're also on social media, which is at TurningPointBCR. So those are ways to find us. And then just calling us, obviously, in the office.
Yeah,
but we have 2 clinic locations, one in Sandy Springs, and that's our main location. We have 6 treatment rooms there and a gymnasium, so we have a lot of space to be able to treat our patients. And we recently opened, about a year ago, our Atlanta satellite clinic, which is downtown Atlanta. And we're open 3 days a week there, where we're open 5 days a week in Sandy Springs.
Gotcha. And I would think that the patients themselves, speaking of understanding the need for this therapy,
yes,
that just like the medical professionals, the patients don't understand this may be an issue for them as well, right?
Yes. They really sometimes aren't prepared for the diagnosis and what's to come.
Right.
And we find that just bringing them in, we've developed a preoperative program. If they come in, we can give them the lay of the land on what's going to happen, what to expect during their surgery, how to come out of it, and how to be able to sleep properly and even get in and out of bed. And we're helping just educate people on how the whole process is going to work.
Yeah, it strikes me that, and this is not just for breast cancer, this is for a lot of different issues that people might have, heart surgery or what have you, that they're focused so much on the procedure and getting to and through the procedure, they don't think about life after. It's kind of like climbing a mountain, right? The peak is halfway of the journey, half of the journey, right? You've got to come back down. It's the same here, right? It's thinking about what happens after.
Yeah. Exactly. You go through that traumatic, basically, experience of the surgery, and then you're coming out going, now what?
Yeah.
And so we are there for that now what, and to help them through that. We know what they're going to go through. We've seen it over and over again. And because of that, I think we're versed in what needs to happen. We put together a care plan when they come in, and that care plan includes physical therapy, all of the available services that we have, which could be counseling, could be nutrition services, our exercise programs, lymphedema support. So that care plan is put together to help walk them through this so that when they come out on the other side, they're as good or better than they were.
That's fantastic. You have a lot of concern and care for those that are underserved.
Yes, definitely.
And it's pretty extensive
yes,
from what I can see. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. We have a couple of initiatives. One is our Atlanta initiative, and that is we have a community coalition around that from the city of Atlanta, where we're working with folks in that area to develop community-centric programs for the underserved, meaning Black breast cancer survivors, Hispanic, LGBTQ, those populations in downtown Atlanta. The clinic is located near the MLK MARTA station and the Aquatic and Recreation Center for easy access. And at that location, we also provide financial aid and transportation support. So we turn no one away, and we make sure that we can be able to serve anyone that needs our help. And then we have our Georgia Outreach Initiative, and that is to reach rural Georgia. And there are so many underserved, about 70% of the population in rural Georgia are uninsured or underinsured, leading to being underserved in medical. They also don't have great access to quality care like you get in Atlanta. And it can be daunting with a cancer diagnosis to get in your car and have to drive an hour or two to your appointment.
Right.
So we've developed the Georgia Outreach Program where we can get them to our clinic by using transportation assistance, but we also provide telehealth services. So we can do physical therapy. We can do all of our service except for massage therapy virtually. So we can walk them through physical therapy and help them do that motion and give them pieces of equipment to use to measure and help them that way if they can't get to our clinic. So we're excited about that and being able to reach a lot more people that way versus through brick and mortar.
Yeah, that's terrific. And thanks to technology, you're able to do that, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so this goes all throughout the state.
Yes. Yep. And we also have certification or licensing in Tennessee, North and South Carolina. So we've seen a few patients there, but we really stick to Georgia with our outreach there. And then this program is funded by Georgia Core, Georgia Center of Oncology Research and Education. They support this program through a grant funding. And then the Atlanta Clinic is also supported through grant funding from Georgia Baptist Healthcare Foundation, as well as some other donors.
Big shout out to them for their support.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here with Lois Rusco. Lois is with TurningPoint Breast Cancer Rehabilitation. What's the extent of this problem? In other words, I guess what I'm getting at is breast cancer is still, unfortunately, so prevalent.
Yes.
And so prevalent that all of us know, if not multiple, at least one person that has gone through that journey. So talk about just the extent of the problem and that you're trying to address, because you've got limited resources. There are only so many people you can get to, right?
Right, exactly. Last year in Georgia, about 9,800 women were diagnosed with breast cancer. The statistics show that about 80% of those diagnosed could use rehabilitation services, whether it be physical therapy, counseling, nutrition, exercise, or lymphedema support. However, only 20% of those are referred. So there's a huge gap in being able to reach everybody and let them know that we're there and what services we can provide. And this past year, we provided about 5,800 patient appointments, which is great. And that's between both of our locations. And the Atlanta location, being new in the last year, has contributed significantly to the growth that we've had in number of patients that we're seeing. And it's been incremental to what we've had in Sandy Springs. So it's nice to see that. But more growth means we need more money.
Sure.
We do take insurance, and all major insurances are accepted. However, in Georgia, Medicaid does not cover outpatient rehabilitation of any sort, whether it's breast cancer or orthopedic surgery.
Wow.
So unfortunately, those folks aren't covered, but we do have financial assistance to help them. And then there's a gap in insurance reimbursement. We get reimbursed at about a rate of 30% of the cost of care. So we have to make up that difference as well as fund the transportation and financial aid for our patients. So we're always looking for ways to increase donors partnerships, just get more volunteers and the word out. But the more patients we have, the more money we're going to need.
So you're a 501c3, which means you're happy to accept donations.
Absolutely.
Of folks that are moved by this cause.
Yes.
But you mentioned volunteers. Where do volunteers plug in here? And let's talk about how the business community can plug into your organization beyond just volunteering.
Certainly. For volunteering, we have a number of events throughout the year that we use for fundraising to support our operations and some of our programs as well. And we also have volunteer opportunities within our clinics. So potentially at the front desk and helping with just some office function type of things. We also have opportunities like we have mail stuffing parties when we do our annual campaign, and invitations go out for various events. So we have those opportunities. I think to engage with the business community, I am really looking for more awareness as well, because I think just getting our name out there and people knowing about us and what we can do is huge.
Yeah.
And I think through business EAP programs or programs just within the companies themselves, just being able to speak to employees and get information to them about us, I think would be hugely helpful. Of course, donations. And we're also looking for partnerships from larger companies that might be able to provide supplies for our locations, because we do have to have our computers and just basic office supplies. And then laundry is critical because we change out laundry for our patients, those types of things, and transportation support. So all sorts of ways that I'd be happy to discuss individually if anyone is interested.
Lois, you've got events throughout the year. We're recording this show, folks, in early 2025. You've got a big event coming up here this coming month, right? I want you to talk about that, but just folks, if you're listening to this show afterward, check the website because there are events all the time.
Exactly. Our event that's coming up is March 22nd, Saturday. It's at the Georgia Aquarium, and it's called the Pink Affair Gala, Seize the Day, a Survivorship Soiree. So, of course, the theme is aquarium and marine life. But we're very excited about the event. We have a lot of fun things that are going to happen. We're going to have a live feed this year for the first time in 4 years. So that'll be at the beginning of the event. We have Wendy Corona from WSB TV as our host and MC of the event. She is a breast cancer survivor and going to be sharing her story as well. And we just have a great night planned with great food from Wolfgang Puck, a great band, and wonderful entertainment. We have live and silent auctions as well.
That's fantastic. What are the other events throughout the year, that regular events that you have that folks need to be looking for?
Yeah, keep an eye out on our website, and we do a lot of social media and e-blast, but we have a golf event in June, and that's going to be in Cherokee County. We have a pickleball event in September, and that's going to be at the ITA facility in Atlanta. And then we have another golf event that we partner with Toys for Tots in December. So rain or snow, we hold that event. So those are our major events for the year, and just check out our website for the dates and all the details on
There
those.
are such a thing as colored golf balls, right?
Yeah.
Red or orange or something.
They work well in the snow.
They sure do. You could spot those things real easily then. That's fantastic. What's such great work. Lois, I'd be remiss if I didn't give you a chance to talk about impact and just the feedback that you hear from some of your clients.
Yes. We have a number of testimonials and videos on our website, but of course, it's just so rewarding when somebody just stops in your office on the way out of the clinic. And I had a woman stop in the other day just to say thank you, and she started crying because I never thought I could be helped this way. I never thought I'd be able to lift my arm, and emotionally I was a mess, and now I'm great. And I'm just so thankful for TurningPoint. Stories like that all the time. We have stories from the Atlanta clinic where there's a video of a woman who said, I had to make a decision between putting food on the table and being treated for breast cancer, and I made the choice to put food on the table, and then I found TurningPoint, and they were able to help me on my journey, and I was able to get the care that I needed without having to pay for it. So there's a lot of great stories out there if they want to visit the website and check that out.
Wow, remarkable. Such great work. Lois Rusco, TurningPoint Breast Cancer Rehabilitation. Lois, thank you for your fantastic work and your team that do serve affected women in this way, women that deserve a shot at getting through what is a traumatic time. So thank you for that work.
They definitely can get through it. We can help.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, though, we've got to give directions here, give coordinates on how folks can find you, learn more, and hopefully connect.
Okay. Our website is myturningpoint.org, and you can find us on social media at TurningPointBCR. And our phone number, if you want to give us a call, 770-360-9271. And we're open 7:30 to 6:30 Monday through Friday.
Lois Rusco with TurningPoint Breast Cancer Rehabilitation. Lois, thanks again.
Thank you so much.
Hey, folks, just a couple of quick things before we let you go for today. Hey, folks, just a couple of quick things before we let you go for today. If you're a solo, small firm professional services provider, if you're a consultant, coach, accountant, attorney, CPA, and you have got issues around understanding your value or the value clients see in you, your positioning, your business development, maybe your pricing, all those things are related. And I talk about those in my book called The Generosity Mindset, A Journey to Business Success by Raising Your Confidence, Value, and Prices. If that's if those issues are affecting you, go to thegenerositymindset.com to learn more about the book and learn where to find it. Also, I just want to thank you. If you're listening to the show, I want to thank you because by definition, you're supporting us. And I'm grateful to you. And I'm grateful to you and all those out there who have supported our show now for almost 9 years of doing North Fulton Business Radio. And we're coming up on show number 850 of this series. And we've only gotten this far because of you and all your great support. Thank you for continuing to listen, share on social media, like the show, send us guests. We appreciate you and are grateful as you help us live into our mission to be the voice of business in the North Fulton community and beyond. So for my guest, Lois Rusco, I'm John Ray. Join us next time here on North Fulton Business Radio.